大家好，谢谢机会。将我跟各位见面。I'm Wayne Brown, and I would like to be the Mayor of Auckland and have the support of the Chinese people, who are a very important part of our community. Well, the Auckland Council is in trouble, and I have a track record of fixing big complex organisations that have been in trouble, like the Hospital Board, where I made sure the hospital got built on time and on budget, and like the power companies, when the power's been turned off by mistake twice to Auckland, I was brought in to fix it. So I know how to fix big complex organisations, and I can do it, and Auckland needs fixing. Well, the first problem that I had to fix up there was to get resource consents and building consents done on time. They were very, very slow, amongst the worst in New Zealand. And after I'd been there for a while, they were amongst the fastest and best in New Zealand. So I was proud of that. Secondly, in Kaitaia, one of the large towns up there, I built a community centre with council offices, a hall, a cinema, a museum, an information centre, all in this small town, and it all got done on time and on budget. The third thing is that I opened the new cycleway from Okaihau to Kaikoui, linking two towns, and that was built for only $100 a metre. But in Auckland, cycleways are costing $12,000 a metre, which is ridiculous. So cycleways are good if they're cheap, not good if they're not. Well, my first business in China was a surfboard factory. I had a partnership with a Chinese partner in Zhongshan in the south, and that was the small side of the business. And the larger side of the business, when I was the chair of Korea, I spent time in the head office of Huawei in Shenzhen, very, very modern offices, and I introduced Ren, the founder, to my Prime Minister Helen Clark at the time. I was present in Beijing when Helen Clark signed the free trade agreement between New Zealand and China with Wen Jiabao. And in fact, I was one of only 40 New Zealanders and 40 Chinese who went to the official luncheon in the Great Hall, which was a great experience and honour for me. I've led a trade delegation to Liaoning province in the north, and I've visited and hosted business discussions in Shenyang and in Dalian, which is a very attractive city, Dalian, and Chaoyang. I think we were the first round eyes to go to Chaoyang. It was fun. And more recently, I've been in business on milk business in Shanghai. And I've been to the top of tall buildings up there, and so I love visiting China. I've got lots of good experiences. A lot of it's been funny, actually. A lot of funny dinners, and they like to have fun, and so do I. Well, council waste money everywhere, and it needs to stop. Otherwise, your rates will go up to cover the costs. We've just heard in the last few days the amount of money that the port, who I've been criticising, have wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on a failed automation project. They've been building cycleways at the cost of $12,000 a metre instead of $200 a metre. We have empty buses running everywhere. I've been looking through the council's expenditure, and I don't think the councils who are elected or the mayor even carefully look at where their money goes. I discovered in February that they spent $6.8 million on furniture, and I asked the councillors if they knew that. They didn't even know. $6.8 million in furniture would buy 36,000 chairs. There's only 10,000 staff, so I don't know what they're buying for. They must be buying whole bedrooms. And this must stop. We should only spend money that helps ratepayers. If it doesn't help ratepayers, don't spend it.
Money should be used in necessary places.
You should treat the ratepayers' money like your own money. Well, I'm an infrastructure engineer, so I understand engineering, and I understand building, and I understand the things that they are not doing well. All of the council's projects are behind time and over budget. and we need to concentrate on finishing those before we even think of starting any new ones. And when they do them, they close down the whole city. If you look just up the road round the corner, the whole street is shut. It's not necessary. They should just have a narrow strip in the middle for the concrete trucks so that the businesses can survive. We need to get the containers off the trucks and off the highways onto rail, and that will reduce congestion and also reduces greenhouse gases. We need a more modern technology in our traffic light system. It's backward and not efficient. And as far as which is the priority, they're all priorities. We've got to get on and do all those things before we do anything new. That's the mistake that they're doing. Too many things planned, nothing finished. Well, it's funny how it's just in the last 2 days it's popped up just how much they've lost. It'll be over $600 million on a foolish failed automation project which was never going to work. Basically, they're sitting on $6 billion of the most valuable land in New Zealand, and they're not paying any rates, and they're paying tiny, tiny dividends. Not enough. They need to be forced to pay enough money to represent the use of that expensive land where they are, and that will force them to do something different. At the moment, the best land in New Zealand, every Chinese businessman that's come and seen me in New Zealand, within 2 days, they say to me, "Wayne, why is your best land in New Zealand at the bottom of Queen Street covered in one layer of used cars?" And it's a very good question. It should not be. Cars should be imported somewhere else. Yes, well, in China they wouldn't allow that to happen. Everything has to pay for being where it is. Okay, well, everyone wants to promise that, but we have had some success in delivering it. Each business area collects a rate to fund the business association. In Auckland it's called the Heart of the City. It should be just called the City Business Association, but in Otahu, for instance, an area there where I own property, I'm on the board of the business association out there, and we've spent our money sensibly. We have spent that money on CCTVs and most of all on security. So we pay for security patrols to cover the business area in day and night. The result of that is dramatic reduction in crime, and there are no empty shops, and people feel happy and safe to shop there. To get the city back to more busy, healthy economic life, this part of the city need to spend their money on security. Everyone calls out for police, but police tend to come along after a crime and arrest everybody. Security prevent a crime, and there is enough money there. Most of the business associations have a lot of money sitting in an account of unspent reserves. There's no point in doing that. Spend it on security. If you make it safe, people will come. Business will get better, and so that's basically how you do it, in my view. And it worked in Otahu, which is an area that probably would expect to have more crime than the CBD, but security is absolutely important. Make your business area safe by spending on security, and the shoppers will come. Is that right?
Yes.
Make it safe, then have events. Well, I think our migrant communities, and particularly Chinese, have excellent work ethics. They're family oriented, they make good citizens, they work hard, and they raise their children to be well educated. But they're hardly represented on council bodies. There's not enough of them here, and I'm standing to encourage Chinese people to not only vote for me, but to let me be a bridge to your community and encourage you to be more involved. I'd like to see some young Chinese and business Chinese standing for the local community boards. We've got one councillor of a Chinese background, Paul Young. It's not enough, and he covers a small area. And so really your community will make up 20% of the population, but you're really absent in the local body. You should be involved. I want to encourage more Chinese participation, And I want to put more of the Chinese business people onto the boards of council seats. Some excellent Chinese businessmen in this town. They're not involved in the organisations which are setting the standards for Auckland. They need to be. And I want to involve them in it. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
And I'm a good bloke.
Yeah, that's a very good reason. I think maybe more people, more Chinese people, they will be happy to participate in all the things, all the Auckland Council things or everything. That they need to let our voice to be heard, and they need to do more things to let them know that we can also contribute to the New Zealand society.
Yes, and they would know that if I'm the mayor, they'll have a friend. Friend of Shijia.
You will also be the friend of all of our Chinese community, right?
And all of the immigrant communities, migrant communities as well. I think that the Indians are also missing, and they're also people that work hard and have good family ethic as well. And so we need to protect you and make you welcome and make you even more part of our community than you are. You're good contributors economically. We need you to be contributors in a broad front. Warren Yang Ping Yuman, Jing Dao Piao, Jungo Ching Wendy Minda Shija. I hope that's right.
Yes.
Good try. I'm trying.
Yes.